Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of the Overly Subjective podcast. My name is Jesse. I'll be your host for this wonderful Nintendo Switch episode. I'm joined by Hewitt.
Hello, how are y'all doing?
And I'm also joined by Landon.
Hello.
And a very special guest, our good friend, Jeffrey.
Jeff.
That's Jeff with 2 J's.
Dick. Oh, okay, I see how it is.
So yeah, this episode I think we'll just talk about the Nintendo Switch. Last episode we mentioned that we would do like a whole episode kind of dedicated to it because there is quite a bit to talk about. Personally, I'm very hopeful for the Switch. I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. I know for a lot of people this is like the first console that people are buying for themselves. And just to preface this episode, this is all subjective, of course. I think most of the facts we got here are right, and a lot of it is like interpretation and kind of looking at the facts in like a realistic way and not trying to be overly negative. Like that seems to be the zeitgeist on the internet right now, is just to kind of shit on Nintendo. I don't know, you guys feel like you see the same sort of thing online?
I think definitely there is a lot of negativity on the internet, especially with the game launch titles. I think that's where most of the negativity comes from. That and the online system, their online service. I think we just had such high hopes for this system when people announced it, and I think a lot of those hopes weren't met.
Yeah, the only negativity I've seen is basically about the games, the launch lineup, and maybe the specs.
I think people who have consoles just hate on Nintendo anyways, just for being Nintendo, so they can go suck a fat one.
I was actually looking at some old Usenet discussions from like the 90s, and there was like Nintendo hate even back then. I think it's always been popular to hate on Nintendo. They're kind of an easy target, and they make themselves an easy target in a good and a bad way, because they seem to be like innovating the field of video games, right? They're not just going along with the next thing. Like, they're not making an next Xbox or PS4. They're trying to do new things that I don't think people understand. That's like super, super important, unless you want things to just stagnate like they are with the quote-unquote mainstream consoles like what Sony and Microsoft are making.
Well, like Sony and Microsoft, I feel like you just focus more on like graphics and looks and sometimes the story, but other than that, they're all just FPSs. So, Nintendo like tries to make actual new mechanics, like have fun casual games, and people just don't like games that aren't FPSs, right?
I find that the Nintendo games, as I get older, are the only games that are coming out that are actually like fun. Like, you smile and laugh and have actual fun playing those games. Whereas like playing Witcher and stuff, yeah, they're intriguing and entertaining, but sometimes those AAA games just aren't fun.
Well, are you talking about Nintendo games versus like third-party games, or are you talking about specific like Sony IPs, Microsoft IPs, stuff like that?
Talking all other games that aren't Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm thinking primarily like first-party Nintendo games, and this kind of hasn't really been the case in the past because they haven't had super great third-party support in the past. But it seems like with the Switch, especially, that they're really pushing that. They're making it easy for third-party developers to come over to the Switch and making those interesting things like the Wii Motion Control and the Wii U tablet and the Joy-Cons. I think they may not, like with the Wii it worked, Wii U it kind of worked, but I think like Jeff mentioned, the mainstream games have become more of it's like a resolution war right now, versus when before it used to be like you could push new graphics and you could push new mechanics because they were all new and innovative and exciting. And Sony and Microsoft has kind of leveled out, and now they're trying to push this resolution thing, which, by the way, those consoles can't really push 4K. If you really think they can, then you need to do a little research. Most PCs can't even push 4K at 60 FPS, let alone 30 FPS. So you have to consider they're close to the metal architecture. but we have Vulkan, which is close to the metal too. Well, anyways, um, like Nintendo knows that the games are the games. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. Like, there's definitely fun, innovative games for the mainstream consoles. Like Horizon Zero Dawn looks pretty fun. I'm not sure where I'm heading with this. I'm just saying Nintendo. I think they make games like entertaining. They make games because they know you're supposed to have fun when you're playing it, and I think they like to do new, interesting things with their games.
Yeah, they make gameplay. Gameplay makes the games.
They definitely experiment with different, like a larger variety of mechanics, in my opinion. It's not necessarily that other games aren't fun per se, like you said earlier. It's just that a lot of it is Nintendo tries to make things different. You know, they try to make things a little bit more polished. They and I think part of it also has to go back to the fact that Nintendo was one of the first mainstream consoles to be out there. You know, with those IPs dating all the way back to then, which we still remember and love today.
Yeah, one interesting thing, maybe a good example of this is with Splatoon and the motion controls. Like professional, if you can call them professional gamers, they swear by FPS and the motion controls. Like using the tablet to aim your freaking jizz gun around, they swear it's like the best way to play an FPS, and like other games should be doing that. I don't think people would have really considered motion controls for an FPS if like as intuitive as it is, until they saw like the Wii motion controls or the other Wii U tablet. And remember when Nintendo does its interesting stuff, like I'm thinking with the Wii specifically, like they had those mainstream guys copying them. We got the Kinect and we got the freaking PS dildo controllers. Like and I think both of those are like dead now. I think Kinect is like completely gone almost, but the PlayStation Move I think might still be kicking around. I'm not too sure. I don't.
You use it for PSVR.
Right. That makes sense. How well does that work? Have you tried PSVR?
I haven't tried it myself, but from what I hear, it's a lot of times hit or miss. Listening to the Giant Bomb cast, those guys over there are definitely having some issues with their PSVR. A lot of it is just like I think Jeff Grossman on that one of his podcasts was talking about how the center keeps shifting on his. So at one point he was kind of like flying out the window, like he almost flew out the window because it kept shifting him more and more to one direction. But
like the physical center changed?
Yeah, so like they would have to move to basically adjust to where the game is saying is the center. So that's kind of frustrating. But some other people have had no problems. So it's really hit or miss. And definitely the Move controller is the weakest out of all of the the motion censored hardware out there between the PSVR, the Vive, and the Oculus.
Did you guys ever see that rumor that the Switch might eventually have some VR capabilities?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I know they patented some VR stuff, but
I don't think the screen is nearly good enough to be useful in VR, right?
Well, it wouldn't be that specific screen wouldn't be used for VR. You would get another piece of hardware with it to put on your face.
Oh, Landon, you're thinking like you use
they filed a patent, which they may never use, but it was like basically this thing you put on your head, and like the Google phone VR, basically like that. You put the Switch in the front.
Well, I mean, one, that would be pretty heavy, but even if that worked, I actually don't think it would be that bad. Have you guys ever tried the Gear VR?
No, I have not.
So I have a Samsung phone. I have an S6, and I used the Gear VR when it was in the like one of the developer models, because they were putting that on sale for a little bit before the actual model came out, and it was actually really solid. I would say that it's a very good alternative for anybody who wants to try out VR but doesn't want to spend that much money, because it actually is very immersive. And you could, if you look close enough, you could see the pixels, but really most of the time it's a very good experience.
Well, you even get that pixel effect with the Oculus and the Vive too. Were you mostly doing like 360 video, or were you actually playing some game?
I was playing some games. I was playing some top-down games. I was There was also, of course, 360 video. There's some of those VR experiences where you're on rails. But there were a couple games I was playing. Like there was an Adventure Time game that I was playing. That was a top-down game, and that ran really well. I just connected a Bluetooth controller and started playing that, and that was really fun.
Yeah, I'll have to try. I'll have to borrow someone's Samsung phone. Jeff, have you had any experiences in VR?
Only VR I've ever tried was on my brother's Google phone that came with Google Glass. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, the Pixel comes with the Google Daydream, I think it's called.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool. It came with a little almost like a presentation clicker. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm not sure how much they could do with it, but yeah, I'm not the best rater of VR.
I've seen some pretty interesting concepts for specifically the Samsung Gear VR stuff. I've seen some amusement parks adopt it. So if you're on a roller coaster, they have this on the rails video that plays on the Gear VR that you put on while you're on the roller coaster. So along with the VR experience, you have the inertia from the actual roller coaster driving you through whatever video you're playing. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I don't know. I thought it was kind of gimmicky, but I don't know. I've never done it before, so it might be extremely immersive.
Yeah, I mean, for a roller coaster, you kind of are going on the roller coaster to experience the near death, right? You kind of don't want to be in another place. But I could see it being maybe an option on roller coasters. I don't know. So yeah, I don't think the Switch could even drive VR, even if that was coming. You need to have an alternative version of the Switch, which is kind of a rumor that's going around. People think there might be an alternative dock that you could buy that kind of gives additional power to the Switch. I don't know if it could work. I don't know what the data bandwidth is like on that USB-C controller for the the graphics. I don't know how fast that would be compared to being on the actual PCB itself or a PCI card in a PC. I have no idea, but if they could do it, that could be an awesome way to modularly upgrade your Switch. I don't know, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think that the docking concept is really something that could be explored. Because right now, from everything that we've heard, it seems like the dock doesn't do anything. It literally just hooks the Switch up to the TV. And there is, even though it does increase the resolution, we think that it's rumored that maybe the increase in resolution is only due to the fact that the power is plugged in. So definitely, I think that if they were to do something with dock, they could, add something to it to increase the performance of the Switch, and that would be something that could change over time. Like you said, it's modular. So as technology gets better, as this and that gets better, you can add more to it, and maybe eventually one of these days it could. Though I don't think they need to. And it's not that they want to. They could make the graphics better and match up with their competitors.
Yeah, I really like this Switch design with the base and the Joy-Con sliding on the rails. I don't think people realize the possibilities, although some will most certainly be gimmicky. There's some cool possibilities there with what they're doing here with this whole modular design. If the USB-C power is the only thing that is making it drive that 1080, I wonder if they chose 720 on the Switch just for the battery life. Then I wonder if you could mod it somehow to use the whole all the power to drive 1080 on the screen. Although I don't know what the screen natively is. It's probably 720. But yeah, it's interesting. I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
So if people in the gaming community have been living under a rock, I think we'll just lay out some basic stuff for the Switch. Maybe you're an adult, you're looking to buy it for your son or daughter. Well, good luck, because the pre-orders have sold out pretty much everywhere. You'll probably be able to pick it up retail. Of course, you'll have to wait in line because the Switch is gaining some serious steam. Even usually, you have to remember when you're in the video gaming culture, you tend to surround yourself with other video game people. So you're on Reddit, you're on 4chan, you're reading video game stuff, right? So of course the hype is there because they're all like-minded people. But I've been hearing more and more that just the regular Joe is hearing about the Switch, and they're even marketing it the same way, because they just recently they had a Super Bowl ad for the Nintendo Switch that I thought was like perfect for demonstrating what it's going to be to the average consumer.
It kind of sucks that they did the commercial at the Super Bowl. Not the sense that it sucks that they did it during the Super Bowl, but the sense that the Switch has been long sold out since
Yeah, that's
way
kind of a
before.
good point. Like, what's the point of the if they're sold out? What's the point of doing a fucking commercial?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like I guess getting their name out there for people to get excited for when it comes out. But because a lot of the people who are watching the Super Bowl probably aren't going to pre-order it anyways, and they're going to wait for it to come out. But I just thought it was funny that they did that. And
Yeah, that's a
actually,
good point.
yeah, actually, in terms of like stock, yesterday there was a post that said that the GameStop is randomly selecting 1,000 shoppers across its U.S. stores to give people, those people a chance to pre-order the Switch. I don't know how exactly that works. I'm assuming maybe it's like you sign up for a chance. It's like a raffle, and then you get chosen, and then you can buy or pre-order a Switch.
It's like the Hunger Games but for a chance to spend your money.
Exactly.
Which I think is weird for GameStop, because they were rumored to be canceling some pre-orders because they were kind of over pre-ordering, which is exactly the reason I did not pre-order for GameStop or EB Games in Canada. They do have a reputation of doing that type of stuff. So if that is true, I think it was just a rumor last time I heard about it. But if it was true, you'd hope those 1,000 would go out to more people. But I don't know. Business is business. So, well, Jeff, what do you think of the Super Bowl ad?
I mean, bring up a good point. Like, if no one can buy it, they spent a fuck ton of money advertising it for nothing. But yeah, that was
I
pretty
guess
cool overall.
If it's not gonna get a bunch of people to pre-order, at least it's getting the information to the general public. So I guess it's useful for that.
Yeah, I think just getting it in the mind of the average person is probably a good idea.
And the question is, are they gonna have Madden on the Switch? Because there you go. There's your demographic.
Yeah,
right
that's
there,
true.
boy.
I think they'll probably come out with Madden. They might be waiting to see how successful FIFA is, because that's coming on the Switch. We'll talk about what games are coming out for the Switch in a little bit here. So yeah, the Switch marketing is on point. It's going to the regular consumer. The price is $299 USD suggested retail price, and if you live in other places like Canada, that's gonna be $400 Canadian. In the UK, I think it's like £370, and the price in the UK seems to be adjusting. Like, it's going up, it's going down. They're doing some weird things over there. What do you feel about the price? $299, Jeff. You're in the States. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, definitely. It's like $100 more than a 3DS, and it's a console, so it's definitely worth it.
So, Hiro, what do you think of the $299 price in the US?
I definitely think, I don't know. A lot of people say it's like it's like $50 more than they wanted to pay, but I don't think it's that bad. $300. It's actually, well, I take that back. Because there's so many peripherals and all the peripherals are so expensive, I really think that it could have benefited from a much lower price, like $250. The peripherals are so expensive. Like, two of the Joy-Cons, like a set of Joy-Cons costs like what, $80 something USD?
For the set of them, yeah, and I think individually they're like $50.
Yeah, and then you have the Pro Controller, which is like another $70. You have, and so it's just so much money. Think about it. What if you're like in a family and you want to play, you're inviting people over. It's like, hey guys, we have the new Switch, come over. And it's like, well, we want to play a 4-player game, but now you have to buy 3 more sets of Joy-Cons. That's $80 times 3. That's $240. That's an entire another console.
Yeah, I know the price of these peripherals are kind of a hot topic, but I don't know, how much were they selling the dock for again?
I have to look that up. Definitely, I don't think it was that expensive.
Because the dock, I think the majority of the technology is in these Joy-Cons, which I think is why they're so expensive. That could be justified. So let's see. While you look that up, maybe we'll just explain the Joy-Cons. They're basically, you got the Switch. Think of it like a tablet. You got the one on the left side that slides on, one on the right side slides on, and they each have. They don't have D-pads. Neither of them have a D-pad, but it's 4 buttons, and you got a joystick that clicks in for another button, and then you have an SR and an SL for left and right shoulder buttons. And I haven't held one myself, but I've seen people playing it, and I've heard that it's super comfortable, but it looks uncomfortable if you see it. They're like freaking the fingers are like totally bent trying to hit those buttons. I don't know. Do you guys think they seem uncomfortable?
So first off, I looked at the price of the dock, and it is $90.
For the dock is $90.
Yeah, the dock itself is $90, which is pretty freaking expensive.
That seems not right.
I wonder
it's
if
just a piece of plastic.
I wonder if they're just jacking up all the prices just because they know, they know their audience, they know the hardcore fans are buying this no matter what the fuck the price is. So they're jacking everything up just because they know you're going to get it. And then later on, they hopefully reduce the price.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They are a business after all. They're in the business of making money.
I would just like to say that the Xbox Elite controller is $150.
And it's fucking worth it. Trust me, I have one.
Yeah, I have one too. It's the best controller I've ever owned.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Is it innovative enough to require $120 extra for?
No, it's basically an Xbox One controller, but it has actual steel in it, and it's you can change the joysticks and the buttons on the back and everything.
Yeah, it's the construction and the materials of it. It's just way higher quality.
So you're saying that 2 Elite controllers are worth 1 Switch? Question mark?
No.
If you're speaking of just money.
I see what you're saying, though. So, and then, the Joy-Cons also have the HD Rumble, which is, it sounds like it's three Rumble motors in each Joy-Con. So they demonstrated it by saying you could, shake it and hear ice cubes in it, or you can feel the ice cubes moving around. And there's some games that people are playing that have dice. You're supposed to count how many boxes are inside the Joy-Con or something. And people have said that is actually really it feels really amazing.
I did not know that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out of those.
But the milking game that they showed off, where you milk the cow, they said that it doesn't actually feel like milking a cow. So.
Ah, damn.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So I can't jerk myself. Oh, never mind.
Well, you still can, but.
Okay. Just tape it to your dick.
So we got the Switch tablet itself, which is a 720p screen. When it's off the dock, it's going to be running at 30 FPS from what I've read. And when it's docked, it's going to be also 30 FPS, but it's going to be 1080p on your screen. And the chip inside inside the Switch itself has not been confirmed, like the chip that's driving the graphics and the AI processing. We know it's going to be a custom Tegra chip made by NVIDIA, but we don't know if it's going to be the same one that was in the Shield tablet. I think it's a X1. Oh no, the K1 was in the Shield tablet, or we don't know if it's going to be a K1 or a completely different one. So that is still up in the air. I know there's some people that are going to be, when they get it on launch day, they're going to disassemble it and actually see what is inside, which will be interesting. I don't know. I mean, personally, it doesn't really matter what's going to be in it. I think even if it is the same chip that's in the Shield tablet, it's going to be enough to drive the games that they're planning. I own a Shield tablet, and it runs games fine.
As long as it can run Skyrim, it should be fine.
I don't really care about the power of the Switch, really. Just, give me a little bit more fidelity in your Nintendo games, and that's all I care about for the next generation. Because I know their games are gonna be amazing no matter what, because that's what they do since fucking NES.
Yeah, the first party Nintendo games are always excellent, and they have, I like to call it the Nintendo polish. They do these things like if you watch Breath of the Wild videos, there's just these little things that are totally not necessary that they put in anyways. Like if Link is in a cold area and you're switching out his outfits and you put nothing on him, he'll like start shivering, and like that's not necessary at all, but they put it in there. If you hit a rock when you're not wearing shoes, he'll do like a stubbed his toe animation. Totally not necessary, but it's just the Nintendo polish, man. I love it.
It's kind of like Blizzard. Blizzard puts their own Blizzard polish on there.
Yeah, Blizzard is also legendary for their polish. I wish it's a good reputation to have. I wish more developers were going for that. But Nintendo, I mean, people think they're failing miserably, but they make a lot of money. They can afford to take this extra time with the games. And these AAA games we see being pumped out by the studios, they don't always have the time to get that polish in because the parent company or the investors are like getting you to push out the game, and it's really unfortunate because there's some games that are ruined by. I mean, polish is kind of an extra thing to get on there, but if it's not done at all or if it's done poorly, it really ruins the game quite a bit.
I love Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom. So the Joy-Cons. Do you guys think they're going to be a gimmick? Like people thought the Wii controller were going to be a gimmick?
I've heard that the motion controls in those are like excellent, like way better than anything else on the market.
Oh yeah, that's one thing we didn't mention. Yeah, it has an accelerometer, of course, but it also has a IR camera coming out the bottom of it. That seems like it's really good because you can there's some mini games in the 1-2 Switch game where you can you face the IR camera towards your mouth and you make a chewing chewing motion with your mouth, and the camera will actually detect when you're opening and closing your mouth. Totally a gimmick, of course, but the idea is the technology that allows those things to happen. I think is a important underlying thing. I don't know, any ideas on that, guys?
I think they're pretty cool. I was skeptical at first. I was like, what even are these? But I don't know. It's a pretty cool thing to have. Like, if they didn't have the Joy-Cons, what would this Switch be? It would just be a fucking NVIDIA Shield, wouldn't it? There'd be nothing special about it.
I think my only problem with the Joy-Con is that the right Joy-Con has the joystick in the middle, so when you use it as just a sideways controller, your hand has to palm the left side of the controller to get your thumb over it. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, I have heard that as a complaint, so I think that may be justified. Of course, this is all speculation. None of us have actually gone to an event and tried the Switch, so officially we'll have to wait until we hold one in our hands. But that is a common complaint that I've seen come up every now and then.
Yeah, definitely. And you get in a situation where it's like, oh, you have the crappy, I'm going to take the good, the good first party controller. And here, you can have this crappy ass Mad Catz controller that I bought for way cheaper.
Yeah, it's a controller you get when you go to your friend's house. Hey, speaking of Mad Catz, they're actually going out of business, so don't worry about getting a controller.
I wonder what.
I mean, lately their stuff actually has been really good especially for fighting games. I think they're more known for fighting game stuff right now. And I have a Mad Catz stick, and those work really well. I think what really put them under was that deal they made with Rock Band and making those Rock Band peripherals.
You mean Rock Band wasn't successful after the fourth one?
I guess not.
Sixth one, okay.
Yeah, so I think that's really what kind of did them under. It was really those Rock Band controllers and the deal that they made with them.
Speaking of, do we know who designed the new Guitar Hero controller? Because
I haven't even seen it.
It's a fucking piece of shit.
Well, the other ones weren't exactly super great either.
Well, this is so it has 6 buttons with 2 rows of 3, so you have to finger the I don't know what it's called. It's just super awkward to play, and it's not fun. And the game sucks because everything's just you have to pay for, so it's just a shitty game.
Yeah, it's too bad. I've actually played quite a lot of Guitar Hero when I had a Wii. I thought it was fun the first time, but when it comes out like alongside Assassin's Creed every year, not so.
Hey, don't beg on Assassin's Creed. They haven't had a game out in like 5 months.
Oh, they skipped a year to make Wash Hog.
Wash Hogs. Yeah, man. I wanted to like Watch Dogs, but couldn't do it.
Watch
I heard
Dogs
the
2
new one's
good.
good. Yeah, I heard the new one's not bad.
We'll have to see. I have wanted to play that one as well, but I'm kind of trying to learn from my past mistakes, because I always buy the second game if I didn't like the first game, and it's kind of like movies, like the sequels, not always good.
Did Dishonored 2 come out?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Heard nothing about it. Is it good?
I heard it was good.
Yeah, basically no hype for it anywhere I've seen, but people say it's good at least.
I've
Yeah.
heard complaints story-wise though, like I forget who the other character is. Actually, I forget who both the characters are. Cortez.
Oh my god.
Quality
main character.
assurance.
Well, if when you begin the game, you can choose to play as one character or the other, but you can't switch like throughout the game. So you have two stories. You can't play them simultaneously. You have to do one and then the other. But yeah, something we might need to play and then come back to. I think I like Dishonored 1.
It's Corvo and Elizabeth.
Corvo, yeah. So the Joy-Con sounds pretty sweet. Who knows if it's going to be a gimmick? I guess it depends on not only the first-party games that come out, but see if the third-party developers actually adopt that and do interesting things with it. Might take a while, to be honest, but we'll have to see. Is there anything interesting like peripherals you guys would like to see? Like maybe that slide on to the Switch tablet itself, or maybe slide on to the Joy-Con. Nintendo's releasing like an extension for that SL and SR button that kind of extends it out and has regular buttons. Do you think there's any other interesting things we might see, or maybe you'd like to see?
Well, I know that the extension, I think, comes with the Joy-Cons themselves, because if you look at the packaging to buy the extra Joy-Con, they have the extensions already on there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Switch comes with 2 black extensions.
Yeah, you're right. It comes with one for each Joy-Con. But can you think of anything interesting? Like we were just talking about Guitar Hero. Maybe there's like you can slide the Joy-Con onto a guitar neck or something.
I think there's like way more potential, more than like any other console, to have really cool peripherals. Because you can just slide this fucking Joy-Con onto like any. They just copy the rail from the Switch, right? And they just like put the rail on all kinds of different shit. Fucking, you can make a faux fucking GameCube controller by sliding in a Joy-Con to like some weird kind of like the one that they made already, but like GameCube controller shape.
Well, the thing to note is that the Joy-Con controllers, I don't think they have any sort of wired connection. They're always just connected wirelessly via, I don't know, maybe Bluetooth, whatever's going on in that situation. So I don't think sliding anything on it will technically do anything other than like extend stuff.
Yeah, that's all I mean is just making new shapes for like controller holders that you slide the Joy-Cons into to make it more comfortable to hold. Like the one that comes with the Switch is just like a straight up vertical thing, which people say is pretty comfortable. But what if it was like at a tilt?
Well, think about this. The Switch itself supports Bluetooth 4.1, so like you could slide on like I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. You could slide on an additional hardware piece that connects through Bluetooth, so you do get other functionality and not just the 2 buttons on the top. So maybe I'm trying to think. Maybe you could have like a freaking sword attachment that you slide on and it connects Bluetooth. You know what I mean? Like I think we can get other functionality with the Bluetooth incorporated in the system.
We could get a wheel to attach it. Oh wait, we have those. But actually, just looking at it right now, thinking back to it, I think I take my comment about no wired connections back, because the Joy-Cons, they charge while connected to the console itself when it's in the dock, and they also have that charging grip. So there has to be some sort of connection, whether it's wired or some sort of like you know how cell phones have wireless charging capabilities nowadays. So it must be something of that sort to actually transfer the power between
Well,
the console itself.
yeah,
or
the Switch doesn't even. It actually doesn't come with that charging Joy-Con grip either. It comes with that basic one, and the charging one is actually extra, from what I understand. I believe that's how they're doing it.
Yeah,
Yes.
when you get out of the box, you just charge your controllers on the Switch itself on the dock.
But the actual, like the one you're talking about with the Joy, like the left and right Joy-Con slide on the two sides of the square thing, the Switch comes with just a basic one that turns out into a controller. It doesn't actually come with the charging one, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, I see what you mean. How does that thing charge? I don't know. That's one thing we haven't really seen too much of.
And there's really not too much to be seen, unfortunately. Nintendo has done a great job of not revealing any. And surprisingly, there's actually like usually, with anything nowadays, like, oh, this has been leaked, that has been leaked. This really hasn't had many leaks from what I remember.
Well, the leaks were pretty early on. Like, we basically knew what it was. We just didn't know all the details.
Well, the important
then-
stuff isn't even out yet. Like the actual the system on chip hasn't come out, or
It's just funny that when the Switch was announced, that their stock prices dropped like 8% because it was exactly what we thought it was. Wasn't innovative enough, which I find is to be bullshit.
I think people are gonna be surprised how successful this is. And I'll eat my words if I'm wrong, but I don't think I will be.
I think for me, all that matters is I'm excited about it. I think it's cool, and I look forward to the games that come on it. Everybody else can suck a dick.
You just want to play Legend of Zelda, you little bitch.
Yeah, I really, really do. Every day I watch a fucking video about it.
Jerk off, right?
I've been trying to avoid videos because there's some spoilery stuff out there. I really don't want to ruin that for myself.
Yeah, you gotta be a little careful shopping around for videos to watch these days because there's apparently a screenshot that Nintendo released, that was apparently of some boss. It's kind of a minor spoiler, but if you don't want to know anything about any bosses or any dungeons, then look out.
I've been preparing by playing Link's Awakening DX. So many spoilers on that.
Good job, boy. The best one in the series.
Listen, we discussed this last time.
Hey, man.
So, well, we might as well talk about this Breath of the Wild, which is the latest iteration of the Legend of Zelda series. Full title is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So that's coming out launch day. That's March 3rd, 2017. I think that's, I think if that, I don't know, do you guys think if that wasn't coming on the release day that it wouldn't have been as crazy hype? I know a lot of people online were saying they would wait if Breath of the Wild was at a later date, they would wait to buy their Switch. Would you guys have done the same?
Yeah, definitely. That's the reason why I'm getting the Switch.
I
I'm also looking forward to like Mario, and like I can just like foresee the amazing shit Nintendo's gonna release on the Switch. So I was kind of like looking forward to that, but it wasn't enough to make me get a Switch. But Zelda coming out on the same day pushed me over the edge.
Yeah, definitely. I think that if Legend of Zelda wasn't coming out, a lot of people wouldn't buy it. I personally would probably buy it just because I was hyped for the console even before all this news about Legend of Zelda being a launch title. Like back when it was still called the NX, I was like, I need to get this console. This is everything I wanted when I was a kid. It's like, a console that you can take on the go. And I would have bought it personally, but I know most people probably wouldn't have. And I know that a lot of people aren't because they have a Wii U and they can play Breath of the Wild on that.
Yeah, that's something I keep forgetting. I've just completely forgotten about the Wii U. It's kind of in the deep recesses of my mind.
And to be completely honest, like that's probably the right way to do it if you're like responsible financially, because on the Switch it's essentially a port of the Wii U version. It wasn't built for the Switch, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's still gonna be better than the Switch version because they're of course increasing the graphics and sound quality and stuff like that.
Yeah, sound quality is a big one. It's actually quite a bit better than the Wii U, and you'll have things like better lighting and maybe more assets on the screen drawn at any given time. But essentially, the Wii U and the Switch is the ported version. I think you'll be totally fine playing the Wii U one if that's all you have available. I would say, like, I wouldn't tell someone to buy a Switch just to play Breath of the Wild, even though it will be a better version. You definitely do not need to. The Wii U is going to be just fine. But just keep in mind that the Breath of the Wild one will like run at a more stable frame rate as well. So if you're kind of a frame rate whore, maybe consider that and get a Switch as well if you can.
So the question is, does the Switch replace the 3DS?
Yeah, and that's a good question, man. It's a good one. Nintendo's they've kind of been saying absolutely not. It's not going to replace the 3DS. But I mean, I think they have to do that as a responsible company because there's still games in the pipeline being developed. There's still games now that are popular, like most notably Sun and Moon. That's been driving 3DS sales like through the roof. So I think as a business they have to say that. But I mean, if you just look at them, you put the Switch and the 3DS side by side, the Switch is not too terribly, like, it's not much bigger than the 3DS. I see no reason why the Switch could not replace the 3DS.
I just think the next iteration of 3DS, if there is one, it would only happen if they had a gimmick for it. You know what I mean? Like they had the 3D on the 3DS. If they could think of a new gimmick that just didn't fit the Switch, or they didn't want to use on the Switch, they could use the DS line as a vehicle to share those kind of weird mechanics, weird gimmicks.
Well, you really love your 3DS. What do you think? Would you be fine with the Switch replacing it?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't say I really love my 3DS. I got my 3DS fairly recently. I got my 3DS in, I think, 2015. But really, I think that the 3DS needs to go for the Switch to be successful because Nintendo's advertising is saying like, oh, 3DS is a lower price point, so people with like kids or whatever can enter the market better. But I really think that the Switch needs to beat out the 3DS because what the Switch is aiming to do is, in my opinion, to unify both the console and the handheld. And if you still have a handheld in the market, then why would people like pick up one over the other?
Yeah, that's true. What if they made like a 3DS peripheral for the Switch? So you just have a 3D screen that you slap your Joy-Cons on. Who knows, man? Who knows? I personally think that the 3DS will be replaced by the Switch.
Yeah, the only difference is like battery life. 3DS has much better battery life than the Switch.
It's also because the games look like trash. They're all low-res games. Not to say that they're bad. I love my 3DS and I love all the games for it. But like, I think you would agree they don't look like the best games.
Definitely not.
But Monster Hunter.
Yeah, but Monster Hunter is great. So, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild coming out on release day. Other release day notable games that I could find. And it's one thing that I like going into this. Like, there's definitely going to be more launch day titles that I haven't found. But the notable games, Super Bomberman R, new Bomberman coming out on release day. 1-2 Switch coming out on release day. I Am Setsuna. Just Dance 2017. I love that game. Not. Skylanders Imaginators. Yeah, one of the disappointing things is trying to find the release, like actual release day ones. I thought there were gonna be more, but I wasn't able to find more than what I got here. I don't know. Do you have any more word on what's going on?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple indie games coming out. I know Binding of Isaac is coming out on that. I believe Little Inferno is also going to be a launch title as well. And there's one more, which is like about you working in a company and moving your way up. I forgot what the name of that game was. They're all indie titles, though.
Yeah, I thought Binding of Isaac was going to come out, but I couldn't find a release day.
It's going to be on launch.
Is it? Okay. And yeah, the Little Inferno, I'm assuming the other games from the same company, like World of Goo.
Oh yeah, World of Goo is coming out too. Yep. And
Little Inferno is the other one.
Yeah, Little Inferno is coming out, and I think Shovel Knight is also coming out, right?
Yeah, I know it's coming on the Switch. I don't know what day it is though. I think it might be April from what I remember, which kind of so those are the launch day titles, and then the launch window titles I'm considering like from launch day to maybe at the end of fall. I consider like the launch window a couple months after the actual day. So that would include Shovel Knight, Has Been Heroes, Snipper Clips, which look super cool. And then you got your sports games like NBA 2018 and the FIFA game that they announced in their presentation. They didn't say which one it was. People thought it was the old one, but EA came out and said it's going to be FIFA 2018. It's going to be on the Switch launch window. Elder Scrolls Skyrim, they've said it's going to be I don't know, special edition, they calling it. That's going to come out in launch window, I think fall it's coming out. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is coming out in April. I'm not including Mario Odyssey in that because it's like in holiday 2017. I think that's out of the launch window in my opinion.
And I just looked it up. The last one that I was talking about, that's the launch title, is it's called Human Resource Machine.
Right. So one thing I've noticed is they're kind of, and I think this is smart, they're taking like each month from the launch day, they're taking one of their like first party IPs and they're not releasing them all out of the gate. And I mean, really think about it, people. Do you want to do that as a business? Just release all your games? You want to stagger that so you have sales that are going up throughout the months after a release date. You don't want to just throw everything out there and have everything just pick up everything. You want that interest to leak out into the public. You want to stagger the important releases and then have all your third parties kind of be under, also come out with the first party titles. Do you guys think that's like a good idea? I think it is.
I mean, building hype is a part of marketing and a useful tool. I think a lot of games on Steam go under the radar because they have no time to build up hype.
Well, I know a lot of people are giving Nintendo crap for not just blasting everyone in the ass with all their first-party titles. I think they're not really thinking about it like Nintendo's a business. Just remember that.
I think one of the main differences between now and back then is that there were a lot more like really popular Nintendo titles back in the day compared to now. Like for example, with the way back in the day, you'd have like a Banjo-Kazooie, you'd have Smash Bros, you'd have like all these different titles that you would be able to put in a launch window, but nowadays they're not here anymore. They're not as popular. There haven't been games made for them in a while.
Yeah, I could see that. You mentioned Banjo-Kazooie, and it reminded me of Yooka-Laylee is coming out on the Switch too, and I think that was another April one. So that's a launch window. That was made by some of the old Rare developers that made Banjo-Kazooie. They're actually working on Yooka-Laylee. And then...
What was that Snake game that's coming out?
Yeah, Snake... I forget what...
Snake Way or something?
Yeah, something like that. It's like a platforming game, but you play as a snake. It uses physics. So you gotta like slide up and down things. Looks pretty interesting.
I thought that looked more like a old school, like N64 platform than even Yooka-Laylee did.
Yeah, it has that kind of like vibrant colors, like cartoony, fun environment.
Yeah, the only thing different was just like the mechanic of being a snake and you're not like jumping around.
I think one of the things that was going to push the Switch is that it does have those weird Nintendo things like motion sensor, that weird IR stuff. But you don't have to have that in your game. Like with the Wii, you had to basically put motion controllers in there because that was kind of the thing. That was the gimmick. With the Wii U, you had that second screen, which you had to have something on it basically, or else it's like, why am I using this? With this, you could just put video games, like video game on there, and there wouldn't need to be the need to have motion controls. There wouldn't need to have the need to sorry, I'm saying things too many times. There wouldn't need to be the IR sensor built into the game.
Yeah, all the different options are probably, like, even if you don't care about them, probably like pretty attractive for developers just to have the sheer amount of options to work with, even if they don't use them all.
Yeah, so you could have a game that worked with a motion sensor, but you could also have a game that doesn't use it at all, just because of the way the console is built.
Yeah, you're not obligated.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that drew developers away is like, well, the console isn't that popular in the first place, or like with the Wii, it was very popular, but it's kind of like that motion sensor stuff was a gimmick that they didn't need to put in there. That they're like, well, I kind of have to put it in there now.
Yeah, and that combined with the fact that the Wii was notoriously hard to actually create your games for, or specifically to port them over. They were using the PowerPC architecture, which I guess was just a headache for the developers. And maybe something we should talk about. Apparently the Switch, like, it natively supports Unity and Unreal Engine 4, which is like gonna be insane for ports. Like, a lot of developers have said that it is super duper easy to take your game from PS4 or Xbox One and stick it on the Switch if they were using Unreal or Unity as a back-end engine for their game. And they've come out in the last couple days, said they've been working, like the Nintendo team, like developer team, whatever, has been working on mastering these engines so that they can actually help the developers along with porting it over. So it's not necessarily to create their own games. It's more of like a support structure for the third-party developers so they can get the games over to the Switch more easily. And I think this kind of lends itself to the idea that the Switch is embracing third-party support. Like I think they've heard the players and they're gonna get this third-party support going.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, they had the launch titles without Binding of Isaac, without Little Inferno, without World of Goo, without I'm forgetting the name again of that other game.
Human Resource Machine.
Yes, Human Resource Machine. They announced the launch title in what was it, the beginning of January, like January 8th or something like that. But since then, it's been less than a month. And, well, it's been more than a month right now. But when they announced Binding of Isaac and all those games, it was less than a month between the initial launch lineup and those additional games. I don't imagine that they were spending... I would imagine that if they had those titles already planned when they did the launch event, they would have announced it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Because you would imagine... if they had planned on putting it on the Switch, they probably would have got a dev unit or something, right? And they would have already known it was going to come out.
Yeah, and it seems like this was kind of a last-minute addition. And if it was a last-minute addition, it took them less than a month to port the game over, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, man. I think it's gonna... I don't know. I mean, PS4 and Xbox One have their place, of course, for many gamers. But, I think just the IPs on Nintendo platforms, man. It's like, how could you not want one?
I mean, Zelda. I mean, if you haven't played Zelda, go play a Zelda game because they're genuinely some of the best games ever made. And you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not playing them. It's not just a fanboy thing.
Yeah, if you jump into a Zelda game and like look at it critically and just try to be aware of what the game is presenting with you and like analyze it as it's happening, do this after you've played it, like, because it's not gonna be fun if you analyze the game while you're playing it. But you see like how they teach you to do certain things, and it's just such a like gradual, easy way. Just like the game design is like absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'm super excited for Breath of the Wild, man. What's your favorite feature that you're like looking forward to in Breath of the Wild?
I think I'm really looking forward to the physics engine that they're introducing. It's the first Zelda that's having like a modern physics engine. Like, things can blow away in the wind, and you have your like magnet thing, so you can like lift like like metal stuff, and like boulders go down hills, and man, the puzzles are gonna involve physics. It's gonna be freaking sweet.
But can you jump?
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, I think the only other game that lets you jump on command may be Skyward Sword.
No, even some of the old games, what is it? I'm playing through Link's Awakening right now.
Those
and
don't count. I'm talking about 3D.
Why don't they count?
Because you have an item that makes you jump.
They'll jump, man.
Technically is the best kind of correct. Technically correct.
So, like, does anyone else notice? Okay, so Nintendo Switch, it's a tablet. Cool. Link, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Your main thing is like a tablet, and it's like they do that with all the games.
The Sheikah tablet.
Yeah. Also, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, your Pokédex is a tablet. Does that mean it's coming out on the Switch?
There's a rumor that Pokemon's coming on the Switch, and it's gonna be like the first console Pokemon, which I think people have been dreaming about for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think even back when the Pokemon Sun and Moon first came out, I think they were talking about like, oh, Pokemon Stars is gonna come out on the Switch.
I'm still waiting for Pokemon Z.
Pokemon's a strong franchise. Yeah, I'm really looking for the physics in the new Breath of the Wild. What are your guys' features that you're looking for?
I'm really curious about how dungeons are gonna work, like non-shrines, like a full-fledged dungeon.
Yeah, the way they're showing it right now is like there's the 300 Sheikah shrines, and then there's like the main dungeons, which I don't know if we should like say what's going on, but there's a certain number of dungeons, like main dungeons that they're showing, which is considerably less than would be in a normal Zelda game. So I'm thinking maybe they're bigger than usual, which is probably the case if you've seen the analyzed videos. Or maybe there's like sub-dungeons in the dungeons or something, but I personally hope there's more dungeon than what they're showing.
So does each Sheikah Shrine have a new piece of equipment? Like
they said
abilities?
Each Sheikah Shrine is completely optional, so I'm not sure. Well, maybe not each one.
Well,
I don't know where we're getting the items. Like traditionally, you get the item in the dungeon and then you use it to beat the dungeon.
I think we're still thinking too old Zelda. Like, I think they embraced the fact that it's like open world, and they made sure they designed the dungeons where you don't necessarily need every item, because they know that maybe you don't got all the items when you enter that dungeon, and then maybe some higher level or more difficult dungeons might require actual items. But I'm just like, how do you make a dungeon when you built a game around the whole aspect of freedom and like being able to do whatever you want, however you want? How do you build a dungeon that way?
I don't know. Like maybe it'll be a situation where it's like, oh, there's a 10% drop rate from these moblins. I gotta grind out some moblins to get this boomerang.
Man, I hope that's in the game. I think that would really be cool in a Zelda. Well, specifically Breath of the Wild, because it's very much like an open world. You find new items, and you can equip whatever item you want. You can have a hammer, an axe, a sword, and different like you can get a blue suit. You can get different boots, shoes, freaking pants, different companions. Yeah, it's gonna be. They said they're breaking a lot of Zelda molds with this one. So I mean, what we're speculating with the Sheikah Shrines with like maybe you can beat every dungeon with no items, and maybe the items, if you do get them, just make it a little bit easier. Who knows, man? Like I think there's a lot of things that they have under wraps here that they just haven't shown yet, and they've said that the demo they're showing at the Nintendo events, they've actually removed a lot of the asset from the plateau, which is like the big main demo that they show everyone. They said, or I think it's speculated that they've actually removed content so it seems a little bit more barren than it actually is, just so people don't have the full experience in the demo, which I think is exciting. Breath of the Wild, man, it's gonna be good.
I'm looking forward to the progression of armor, because it seems I can't like think long term like what they're gonna end up doing, because like you can get like tunics for cold, and you know, if you're wearing armor in the rain, you get struck by fucking lightning. And like just interacting with the world with your equipment seems like it could like open up for some really cool situations.
Yeah, and there's like the durability on the weapons too. and we don't quite know how the Master Sword is going to work because, like, if you watch the trailer, this isn't really a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but the Master Sword's all, like, broken to shit, so it seems like you might need to repair it, but does the Master Sword also have durability? And does that go down so you have to stop using it? Maybe.
I think that's on purpose. I think it's a hint from them that, like, in the trailer you can see the wrecked one, and it's in the goddamn logo, for fuck's sake. And then you can see, like, a restored version if it's in a flashback. Who knows? But I think just the fact that they show it destroyed means that it has durability, just like everything else. But I think you might have to do some stuff to restore it, or maybe it takes a longer time to get degraded.
I really just hope we don't get No Man's Sky.
Yeah, that would be disappointing, to say the least. Because, I mean, we're all dropping a lot of money on this thing. Better be good, damn it. I don't want my expectations to be too high, because I don't want to put it on a pedestal before I even play it.
I'm just super excited for the stuff they've shown, not for what they haven't shown. Just what they've shown is enough for me.
How do you feel about voice acting, though?
It's good.
I
Sounds
think
good.
in Breath of the Wild, I think it fits. I think it works.
Like,
Scary,
And
man.
I don't think Link is going to have a voice.
I'm gonna miss the babble, you know.
The gibberish.
at the very least, it's going to be a very pretty game. I can tell that already.
Yeah, and the Zelda character design is probably my favorite. Like, Skyward Sword was my favorite, but now it's like, I don't know, man. She's my waifu.
Your new waifu?
Yeah. So yeah, we could talk about Breath of the Wild for hours, I think, but I want to know, do you guys have a game that maybe hasn't been released yet, or maybe is released that you're looking forward to, that's just kind of personally you want to see available on the Switch?
Any...
Yeah, so I personally am pretty hyped for the Sonic game. Like, they're really taking it back to its roots with even the graphics. And I really, as a kid, I have very fond memories of Sonic. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those games that always makes me like, I really liked this game as a kid. I really want to check it out again. And so far, all the new Sonic games have been, some of them have been okay. I think Sonic Generations was one of them that was okay. But really, the 2D Sonics was what I was, always thinking back to and always remembering as, like, the peak days of Sonic. So I really am looking forward to that and hope that it'll be good.
Yeah, it's called Sonic Mania. It looks pretty sweet. It's pretty much like Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic Knuckles. It looks exactly like that. It's gonna be cool.
Yep.
You guys see that Sonic Utopia thing?
Oh, that fan-created one?
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it too much, but yes, I have heard about it.
I think
That was-
it's Sonic remade in Unity Engine or something, and it looks like Sonic Adventure, but, done correctly.
Is there Chow raising? If there isn't, then I don't care.
I'm pretty sure it's just a demonstration. Like, it's all just one little map that you can run around and see the camera and stuff.
Well, someone took Mega Man and made Mega Man 2.5D. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's the whole game, but in 2.5D. It actually looks really cool.
So
I think
what
it's free to play.
Mighty Number 9 should have been?
We don't talk about that game.
It's still you still got sprites, but it's kind of like the platforms are kind of 2.5D. Yeah, you have to check it out. It's really cool looking. Mighty Number 9. Well, Jeff, I already know what game you want, and I'm just gonna say it's probably Monster Hunter. Is that right?
Fuck, damn it. Yeah, I'm sure Monster Hunter Double Cross will come out on it. And if you want a different answer, I'll give you another equally
Fallout 4.
unsatisfying answer. I was gonna say Skyrim, but we kind of already know Skyrim's coming out, so whatever.
Bioshock Infinite.
Oh,
Oh God. Jeff, you're a creature of habit, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
hey, masturbation is totally natural. Okay?
So Fallout would be cool on the Switch.
I don't think it would work. Fallout 3 might work. I doubt Fallout 4.
I don't know, Fallout 4 isn't very pretty if you actually look at it.
Graphically, it's not super
What about
awesome.
Diablo?
Yeah, I thought that about that a while ago too. I don't know.
Did you guys ever play it on console ever?
No.
No, but I have played other ARPGs with controllers like Victor Vran and Grim Dawn and Path of Exile. I've played with controllers, and
A lot of people swear by the console version of Diablo.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Maybe I was just used to playing it on computer.
You think Monster Hunter would be better on the Switch than the 3DS? Because I think, I don't know, I just can't get into it on the 3DS. I've tried multiple times.
I think it'll look better. So, yes.
I've never been able to get into a Monster Hunter game. I tried it on the PSP. I tried it on the 3DS. It's just, I don't know. It's just,
Well, you're talking to a veteran here, so
Yeah,
You know.
it's gonna look better on the Switch. I think it's undoubtedly gonna come eventually, but unless they fundamentally change that game, I'm super not interested.
Well,
so disappointing.
well, we've talked about this a lot, or like when we're not recording, but I don't want to get into it too much here, but the barrier of entry for me has been just the way it teaches you how to play and the lack of information it presents you. And I'm sure you could find it in the game, but that's not the point. The point is that it's not like inherently, you're not aware of it right away like you should be. Like, look at a Zelda game. So I think maybe if it was on a Switch, I might be more open to just kind of just trudging through that and learning the game. The 3DS, my attention span is just not there. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the nature of being portable, but I just can't like force myself to look at that freaking shitty 24p 320p screen. Force myself to play it. I think maybe with the Switch I might be able to force myself.
Who's that developer of Braid? It's like Jonathan Blunt or something.
God, Jonathan. Yeah, I know he's a funny last name, but he made The Witness too.
Jonathan Blow.
Blow,
Blow,
yeah.
So on like a conference or like convention interview or something, he said that Japanese games suck because of their massive front-loaded tutorials that are almost always text-based.
yeah, I
I
think,
think that's true for Monster Hunter. That's my main problem with it. It's just even if it's not text-based, it just takes too long to get the fun going.
I think that's the English alphabet's problem because Japanese alphabet is a lot shorter.
Nah, man, I think it's just bad game design. Because, again, bring up Zelda. Zelda teaches you how to play the game. It doesn't even say a single word about what you need to do other than press A and B to, like, freaking roll and do your sword. Like, you can teach a player to, like, games, they're kind of going towards this trend of treating the gamer like they're an idiot. Like they will figure out how to play your game. You just present it in a smart way, and they will learn how to play. You don't need to front load the entire tutorial of the game. Just do it through the game itself.
one of my issues with it, I think, thinking back to every time I stopped playing Monster Hunter, is like they made me try to look for something and I couldn't find it. Like, go here and search for this plant or this dinosaur or this monster, and I couldn't find it because they don't tell you like what zone it's in or like. So it's just that's what got me every time.
We'll see if it comes out. We'll all have to. I don't know. I don't want to tell you guys to buy it, but we should try and play it. See if we can do it.
Hey man, there's a demo.
So another thing that people have been complaining about the Switch, if you're not aware, is this, and with the classic NES too, this idea that Nintendo creates this artificial shortage of stuff, and I think that is just not true. Nintendo is historically, they're a company, they only make what they think they can sell. They don't create excess that's going to take up like storage space somewhere and it costs them money, or producing units that they may not sell cost money. Like, Nintendo makes money because they're smart about their business. They don't generally create excess. So this whole artificial shortage that people think that they're doing just to increase demand, no, it's just business as usual with Nintendo. So the Switch has reportedly sold 2 million pre-orders right now, with more coming, and people have said, well, that's not enough. They should have known the demand. Well, A, y'all thought it was going to fail anyway, so where's the demand? And B, the Xbox One sold 5 million units in the first 5 months. So they're well within the correct numbers. The PS4 sold 2.1 million units in 15 days from launch, and they had a major shortage after that too. Like, it was hard to get a hold of. So why are people not holding the same standard to Microsoft and Sony as they are with Nintendo? I think it goes back to what we said at the beginning, where people just like to shit on Nintendo because that's just the zeitgeist right now.
Part of me wishes, like, yeah, you should have been more prepared when you're about to sell a new console, no matter what it was. Like, make a lot of shit so people, your fans, don't have to stress about fucking buying it. But on the other hand, like, how could you prepare? They're a business, they can't go make, like, 10 million fucking things if they don't know if anybody wants it.
I was going to talk about like their online service and what do we think about that.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Well, what do you think about that?
Well, personally, I think that, I mean, the price point is pretty attractive. Only being, it's like $20 a year or something like that. And it really kind of, for me, I think it kind of sucks that it is based off of the phone. Like, hopefully they'll have something on the Wii, or sorry, I just called the Wii, the Switch, that you could use to work with the online service, like Manage Buddy List or something like that. But I don't mind that much that it's on the phone, but hopefully that it'll have some sort of integration with the Switch console itself, because I think there was like a microphone port or something like that was revealed at one point on the Switch, so maybe there is a little bit of that on the Switch itself. But other than that, I just kind of think about like, well, what if I'm a family that doesn't have any smartphones? Like, I know, so I work at a school, one of the students, they actually don't own a smartphone. So what if he wanted to play the Switch and use the online service, but he didn't have a phone to work with that?
Yeah, totally understandable. I think this is one of the great examples of Nintendo's like horrible PR failure that they are also known for. Like, they're known for Nintendo Polish, and they're known for just letting people stay in the dark forever. I know the microphone port that you mentioned, it does receive and send audio, and it does receive a microphone input, so you can use your microphone on the Switch itself. The online stuff for the phone, they haven't really cleared up. I think the phone online is for like when you're on the go. Your Switch doesn't have a wireless connection, so you tether it to your phone and get the wireless that way, so you can still play online. I think that's what they're kind of aiming for, but they just phrased it in a way that's absolutely horrible. We'll have to, of course, wait till it comes out. If it actually is using your phone for online play, I think it's a total disaster. I think that's just not the way you should do online. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see, but I do not think it's going to rely on the smartphone. I don't know. I'm hopeful that it doesn't, but of course, we don't have the deets, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. And another thing that I really hope they don't do is stick with the friend codes. Because Fire Emblem Heroes, you'd think that after all these years, like, they're like, oh, maybe in the past they couldn't, do with their hardware, or they didn't plan to do it this way. That's why they had the friend codes. But with Fire Emblem Heroes, they're using friend codes again, and I really hope they don't do it for the Switch. Yes, they're using friend codes for this, and there's no way to add friends. Like, there's no way to be like, hey, Michael, can you give me your can I add you? And it's like, sure, just look up my username. No, you have to give them a friend code.
Yeah, just add me. I'm 578942766. It is ridiculous. They did mention something about a new account, like unified account system that's different than what they have now. They haven't elaborated on it, of course, because Nintendo.
Yeah, and I really like, the problem is that I don't think they're gonna do it. Like, even though they have like the Nintendo accounts, Nintendo ID or whatever, like, they do that with Fire Emblem Heroes, but they still don't use that as a way. You can't search up another person's Nintendo ID.
Yeah, that is unfortunate if it's the case. It is annoying to have people on the 3DS. It's really annoying. There's communities built around sharing your friend codes for certain games, just because it's just not intuitive. I think you might be right. It might stick around just because people will have kind of gotten used to the burdensome of it. Like, I think they just might go the lazy route and keep that in just because it technically works.
I really hope they don't stick with it. That's all I can say.
So any other Switch stuff you guys want to bring up?
I'm actually slightly worried if, like, the connection between the screen and the Joy-Cons, don't know how strong that connection is. Like, I haven't heard anybody complain about it, but it worries me that, like, you fucking press too hard on it and fucking break a Joy-Con right off it.
Or you mean the actual rails itself?
Yeah.
Well, I've heard it's pretty solid, and the rails themselves are actually made out of metal, so it might be good. That's good.
Plus, they have to make it child-proof, so it has to be good.
Yeah, just having moving pieces like that is a little bit of a worry. Remember, just don't bring your Switch to the desert and make it so that the metal warps and you can't put it in anymore.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard any, like, of the people who have tried it. I haven't heard any of them complain about the connection strength, but I doubt those people at a Nintendo event are testing that feature. I don't think any of them are brave enough to start bending that to see its strength, so I don't know.
We'll have to wait for the YouTubers to do that. Put it in a blender.
Will it blend? So yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything for the Switch. We're all getting one, so when it does come out, we'll be able to tell you guys, the people that are waiting for the reviews, we could maybe do our own reviews of that and then let you guys know exactly what it's like.
Wait, Jeff's getting one?
Well,
Me and my brother going halvesies.
nice. That's good. Going halvesies. Me and Lion did that with the Wii U.
Yeah, thanks for giving me that, by the way.
It's gonna be a collector's item, man.
Jeff, you just gotta hope you don't get the crappy Joy-Con.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you might have to buy
My
a
thumbs
second
can't
set.
reach.
Alright, everybody, that is the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully we might have maybe raised some more questions for you, maybe solved a few questions, maybe given you some answers, who knows. Hopefully the latter. Just want to let you guys know, if you have a smartphone or something, you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and on Google Play Store. And we have an RSS feed at mapleoverbacon.com/podcast/feed that you can just add to your favorite podcast and app if maybe they don't support the Google Play stuff. Can you catch us on mapleoverbacon.com? And yeah, let's see who else we have. Who else is online?
Okay, so you can go ahead and catch me over on the Twitters at MisoXshrew. And I finally got a top level domain to just kind of redirect to my blog. And you can just find me over at objectivelysubjective.com.
Objectivelysubjective.com.
Yep.
It's beautiful. Landon, you got anywhere to be?
Nope.
Nope, he's on Twitter at Masquerade and his website masquerade.com. You can check out his art. He does all the art for our podcast stuff, our channel art, our album art. It's really good stuff. So if you have any questions for him or anyone else, yeah, you can just head over to the website on the contact page. It's don't spam us, please. Jeff, do you have anywhere online that you want to direct people?
No, I got nothing.
myfreecams.com/Jeff.
Yeah, myfreecams.com. That's where Jeff at. He is at Fallout_lover_69. You can send him some tokens.
No,
/
it's just-
JJF.
It's just JJF_Moose Knuckle.
Yeah, there we go.
Beautiful. So make sure to check us all out. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to Hewitt's Twitch. All right. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.